The Prime Minister meets with CARICOM leaders to discuss Dorian. Wow.
Evacuees continue to pour in from ABACO, telling tales of horror in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Vaughnie Tood. Topping news tonight, the death toll from Hurricane Dorian now stands at 23, according to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands. However, he admits the final number will be staggering. Our Jared Higgs visited ABACO today, where he saw some of those unrecovered bodies firsthand.
Now, just a 10-minute walk away from that government complex where all the Defense Force officials, the U.S. Coast Guard is landing its helicopters, where everybody is waiting for relief and being fed, Haitian nationals tell me that there are dead bodies still in the mud. I tell them to show me, so we walk over, just a 10-minute walk, and sure enough, with my own eyes, I see 3 dead bodies, have not been moved, trapped under a building. According to the men who guided our news to the bodies, one of the dead men is in his 20s, while another was in his 40s. He says the younger man's mother was also in a nearby home, dead.
They don't show nobody what's going on here.
45-year-old Fontaine Joseph is a resident of the Pigeon Peas community. He's angry at government's response to the tragedy unfolding in his community. He claims that officials know the bodies are there and are dragging their feet to recover them.
It's pretty bad dead, but I just saw y'all because, you know, I was dead for a couple of days. I came back alive. But I'm showing y'all what's going on in the society. We got a prime minister. We put him there to help us out. But at the same time, if we get a tragedy right this here going down, it's a hurricane, not even a hurricane, a tornado, going down and wipe this place down like that. Nobody come. Right now, today's day, from Monday, it's right now people start showing up because Americans show up and people start popping up? No.
Fontaine offered to show us where more dead bodies were, but we declined. The bodies we did see were beginning to swell, signs that rigor mortis had long since set in. One of the men was pinned under the home, his broken leg twisted and stuck in an unnatural position. Sadly, photos of the dead men have circulated on social media. Later, near to the morgue attached to the government clinic, an eerie scene unfolded as a crew of officers and men clad in white crime scene scrubs rode in with a covered body.
At this particular time, we don't have a number.
Our news guided a group of morticians working on the island to where the 3 bodies were trapped. Denali Penn Mackey, the proprietor of Evergreen Mortuary, has been mobilized by the Ministry of Health to retrieve as many bodies as she can. Is it more than 20?
At this particular time, we do not have a number.
Penn Mackey says what she is seeing is horrific, but it is important to treat the dead with respect.
We are here to try and preserve as many of the casualties as we possibly can, so that when everything settles down, the families would at least have a dignified burial for their loved ones.
According to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, the official death toll for Hurricane Dorian is 23. However, he has indicated that he believes that is an underestimation. He also told the Nassau Guardian he believes the final total will be staggering. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Some desperate ABACO residents are raiding grocery stores in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. 33-year-old ALEXINA DORANGE, a resident of Spring City, says her house is gone.
We lose everything. Everybody's trying to survive right now.
So, you know, would you consider this looting, what's going on here?
Yeah, everybody's trying to grab goods because everybody lose everything. Everybody else collide, like crashed. You know, there's nothing to eat. Everybody trying to make it, you know.
Another man we spoke with says the store was being guarded last night.
Everyone's taking supplies, so we just took supplies.
Oh, you're just taking it.
Yes,
Yeah, it's just a desperate situation.
Yes, sir.
I mean, everybody taking it, just come and get my share.
You just come and get your share?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys looting the store or no?
No.
No? This isn't looting.
As rescue and recovery efforts ramp up in Grand Bahama, teams venture deeper into East Grand Bahama searching for any survivors. Our Kyle Joaquin is on the island and filed this report.
Here on the inland of Freeport, Grand Bahama, a lot of the homes look just like this, structurally sound, but on the outside, furniture drying. And it's on the eastern end of the island that search, rescue, and recovery efforts are still underway.
Knock up my shop, I said, I'm going. You know, they all come go to Freeport, and they were like, no, we're going to be all right. I said, no, come.
And everyone perished. They all drowned.
Marjorie Mitchell stood in her daughter's yard in Heritage, Grand Bahama, still in shock. Moments before she spoke with Our News, she learned that 12 of her relatives, including children, drowned in their homes in High Rock, East Grand Bahama.
It's rough. It's rough for me. It's rough because I spoke to some of these people before I left.
Along the grass, their family's furniture and clothing. The flooding during Hurricane Dorian damaged everything in their home.
This is Heritage.
This is Heritage?
Yeah, this is one of it. This is my daughter's property. She had to evacuate and all that.
Everything, all the personal effects, the cars are gone, all the appliances are gone.
You spent the storm here?
No, we were able to make it out because the water came from just over the hill, right, and it met with a little, there's a little package right here, right, and the both of them met, and we were able to get out with maybe 10 seconds to spare.
But their lawn looks the same as many others in the Freeport area. Their stories of survival and having to wade water to safety all similar. Over its 2-day journey across Grand Bahama, which for the most part meant remaining stationary, Hurricane Dorian claimed several lives. And as rumors of deaths by the dozen came in, we sought an answer from officials. At Rand Memorial Hospital, Administrator Sharon Williams would not give the official count, but mentioned that as search crews venture out, the count increases.
We're not sure how many, but we know it's not at this moment in our hospital as overwhelming as they're saying it is. That's what I can assure you. I'm not saying that there is not a large toll, but those that have arrived to our hospital has not been as overwhelming as yet. Okay.
Thank you.
But we will be providing the information to the Minister of Health as urgently as possible.
During the storm, Williams says water got so high they had to evacuate. But with damage done and many needing medical attention, Williams says the hospital is now only able to tend to emergencies.
We have been overwhelmed because everybody is still coming in for a minor ailment. And we're again asking the public that if it's not an emergency, we're under emergency conditions. We do not have a hospital right now. We have an emergency room that's prepared to provide emergency services.
We then ventured off to West Grand Bahama, where riding along the road in 8 Mile Rock, there was little to no damage, almost as if residents there were still awaiting Dorian. But on the other side of the island, a totally different story, with homes torn to shreds. It's where we met this man who ventured out to help. Unfortunately, his vehicle wouldn't make it through the water, and he stalled out along the road. But while he needed help himself, he couldn't help but think about those he had to help and those still waiting.
It's kind of heartbreaking when you see families like they are. Like when they see you, they see Jesus. You know,
they're just
happy to see someone. So even with doing assessments and I see in people's homes, I actually had a lady sit in the Jeep and she just started crying. Like, oh my God, go over people like that.
Cleanup crews have been working day and night, removing debris from the road and clearing the way for motorists. But one aspect of enduring Dorian that many have come to appreciate, communication. With many stuck in their ceiling and on vehicles, people found themselves calling out for help, sending their location and a distress call. For many, this resulted in lives being saved. While one cellular provider failed to stay up, a live kept service going. And today at the Seahorse Plaza in Grand Bahama, the line to port was out the door.
Lives, it saved stress, it saved distress, and it kept people in contact with each other, which in a time like this, you couldn't ask for more, you know. It really kept families connected together who were separated and didn't know what was the demise from the hurricane.
But there are many who have still not heard from loved ones since Dorian ripped through Grand Bahama. And as time goes on, the fear of what may have happened continues to grow. Reporting from Grand Bahama for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Meanwhile, ABACO evacuees are grateful tonight to be out of what they say is a truly dreadful situation. Many of them describe the atmosphere on the ground as a ticking time bomb. Jillian Gray reports.
It was an emotional scene at Odyssey as families were reunited with their loved ones. We spoke to ABACO evacuees from all across the island, and the consensus was the same. The scene on the ground is simply horrific.
Beyond devastating, beyond worse than war zones area.
You can't imagine the destruction there and the debris, the piles and piles of debris.
The health, everything is gonna, they had all kind of debts, and then, you know, the water's gonna run out. They can't drink the well water, so you're looking at cholera and all kind of other sicknesses and stuff coming about. It's crazy.
More than 1,000 people have been displaced and are now being housed at a shelter in ABACO. Health Minister Dr. DUANE Sands said about 300 people will be flown to the capital from a local clinic, but they aren't sure as yet where they will be housed once in New Providence. Those who got out of the pandemonium today said officials must work more swiftly as people's lives are on the line and things are deteriorating quickly.
There's no gas stations, no grocery stores, no pharmacies, no anything.
Help. Just help. Just help. The people voting, put y'all in power, y'all make promises, just keep one. Just keep one. Be paying that now, just keep one.
But there's so much debt around you. That's what and my kids, I'm a teacher, so some of them was my kids from school.
There have been numerous reports of looting and bandit-styled robberies. However, this Marsh Harbour resident said that's false.
What the food stores did, and I must say, when price rate got blown down, they allowed people to come and shop. They allowed people to come and take stuff for their families, But my thing is, what are they going to do with them? So one of the stores was giving out stove and doing, the thing which is used during the hurricane, they was giving out stuff like that. And I must say, everybody worked together as a unit.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS revealed today that officials are still working on an evacuation plan for thousands of residents who are still stuck in ABACO. His comments came after a marathon meeting with CARICOM leaders at the National Emergency Management Agency this morning. MINNIS says a plan could be revealed by tomorrow. This as the Haitian Charge d'Affaires Dorval Darley says now is the time to act. Jack reports.
After holding that meeting with CARICOM leaders, the Prime Minister emerged and was asked several questions by the press, including plans to evacuate those stranded on ABACO and Grand Bahama. When can we expect you to articulate some kind of evacuation plan? Because people are simply saying they do not want to stay. There's nothing to stay for.
We'll have a cabinet meeting to discuss those matters, and as usual we keep the press and the nation abreast as to our daily progress and what we're doing. So we won't withhold or hold back anything from you. We keep you abreast. I intend to inform you hopefully tomorrow.
The Prime Minister's response came as he was heading out of NEMA's Gladstone Road location moments after he wrapped up a meeting with several CARICOM leaders to discuss Dorian's impact on islands in the northern Bahamas. Dorian lashed Grand Bahama and ABACO for nearly 48 hours as a Category 5 and Category 4 storm. It packed heavy rains, a massive storm surge, and winds that peaked at 185 miles per hour, damaging 60% of the homes in ABACO. While MINNIS said an evacuation plan is in the works, he pointed to the fact that the United States Coast Guard has already begun the process of bringing the injured back to New Providence.
The U.S. are evacuating people regularly.
The PM added that they are also looking to see if it's more feasible to set up temporary housing in ABACO.
Yeah, we're going to address that. We have a committee that will be looking at accommodation. That's something that we discussed this morning. And Alan, the chairman of CARICOM, he and I would discuss that further because he's had that challenge himself in his country. So we discussed that further as to the value of relocation versus the value of bringing in the necessary accommodations, and what type of accommodations are most appropriate for our island, our nation.
Haitian Charge d'Affaires Dorval Darlier was also at NEMA this afternoon attempting to send aid to ABACO. When asked if he believes the government needs to start moving people out of ABACO, he said this.
There is no place for them to stay. You have to bring those people here or make shelter for them. And because even if I bring some goods down there, where they're going to shelter, where they're going to live.
Darlier added that the Haitian government is ready to help wherever it can.
I'm going to work with the government, because this is the government. We need to sit together. I put myself disposed to talk. Whatever it can be, we'll try to find out who can help. Because those people, I understand they are here. It is not now about you are legal, you are illegal. It is about helping people.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And the death toll from Hurricane Dorian is expected to rise significantly in the coming days, according to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who explained there is a process officials must follow before they add numbers to the list of people who have died during the killer storm and reveal their identities.
When I touch you, see you, I know you're dead.
Okay,
next question.
That was the Prime Minister's response to questions about the process of providing the death toll from Hurricane Dorian. Though government officials have said the death toll is currently 20 for now, reports are that far more bodies have been spotted in ABACO and Grand Bahama. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands was a lot more forthcoming with his answer, telling our News that based on unconfirmed but credible information, he expects that number to rise significantly.
We will have a definite definition of a confirmed death, but we expect that this death toll, unfortunately, from this dreadful, historic natural disaster is going to climb and climb significantly.
Sands was asked why the delay in confirming how many people have died. He said they must wait on absolutely verifiable information from reputable authorities.
So the Commissioner of Police would be considered a reputable authority in the absence of a body being examined by a clinician in a clinic or what have you. We had individuals transported from ABACO to New Providence. 3 of those victims subsequently died. We have had individuals pass away in Grand Bahama that are now in the morgue in Grand Bahama. We have bodies in the morgue in ABACO.
A team of morticians arrived in ABACO today to begin the process of embalming bodies. After that, Sands says certification of death and cause of death must be completed to the coroner's satisfaction. The health minister says they will ensure each victim has a dignified burial. Asked when the identities of storm victims will be released, Sands would not say, stressing it is important to be sensitive to their families.
Bear in mind that there are people who are horribly aggrieved, stressed, concerned about loved ones. They want to know, is my mummy in the hospital? Did my daddy survive? I haven't been able to hear from my brother, my sister, my cousin. And so as best as possible, we are going to try to relieve some of that emotional turmoil.
Anxious family members have showed up at hospitals and the airport searching for answers on whether their loved ones have been transported to New Providence and are still alive. However, Sands says another challenge is some storm victims had no ID.
There's no way, they have no identifying information with them. So this process may take a little bit longer than we'd like. Again, we recognize the concern, we recognize the distress. For many, many families, the anguish is just unbelievable. Just not knowing whether mommy or daddy made it, whether a loved one who had texted to say that they were in trouble and then the phone died, whether they are still alive.
And still to come on our News, the National Security Minister addresses the issue of looting. Plus, CARICOM leaders visit the Bahamas. Stay tuned.